Good evening, good morning. I don't know if you can tell it's early for me. Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, whichever suits you best. I'm back again. Um, I have been, I stayed up way too late last night. I literally just got my morning cup of coffee and I was up late last night. I worked a little bit on the model here. I don't know if you can tell, there's quite a bit more shape to the model and everything now. But, anyways, we're gonna do a little bit more like detail work here, and yeah. So first of all, oh, let me pour some coffee here because if I don't, I'm gonna probably just pass out in about half an hour. Don't get old, guys. Seriously. Well, I mean, that sounds terrible. Get as old as you want to, but don't feel old. I sure hope you never have to deal with it. It's not fun, but uh, all right. My problem is that I've got the mental capacity of a child and the bone structure of a very old man. So, oh well, it is what it is. Let's go ahead and get to work here. So, I've got we'll put this in object mode just so you can kind of see where we're at. I had removed the little light inserts that I had placed, and because I really wasn't ready for them in the model, and I've been working on getting some more shaping done to the model. Um, so I've got all of that. That it's starting to take shape, starting to look pretty good to me, but don't have any of the like recessed lines in that into the model that I want. So that's what we're going to start working on, is showing you how I go about that. So first of all, we're going to start over here on the starboard side. I'm going to go ahead and how far down do I want those lines to go? You know what? No. Well, yeah, that'll work. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight those. And I'm going to go ahead and take a bisect, and we're going to draw a line down through them. Now that's not going to be all there is. That's going to be one of them. And then we're going to also do this right here. And I'm going to go ahead and draw another line down through it. Oh, I could have sworn that I had clicked bisect. Another reason not to get old, guys. So there you go. So now I've got a couple of lines that are parallel there. I'm going to also do that over here. We're going to come all the way. Let's go back to faces. Hit control and hold. And I'm going to get... Nah, I don't really need it to go all the way. I just need it to go up to the center point. There you go. And we're going to go ahead and bisect. We're going to go ahead and... Actually, you know what? I don't want to do that. Control Z. I think those lines will work just fine as is. Alright, so we'll start here. So in order for me to get those like really sharp, like recessed lines into a model, I'll go ahead and I'll highlight this area. I'm going to go to Inset Faces. I'm going to make a very, very small inset. And then I'm going to move that in just a hair. Just about like that far. It doesn't need to go very far. It just needs to be a little bit. And then we're going to go ahead and make another inset. It's very, very small. Oops. There, that should be about right. And then I'm going to move that part out. to kind of reorient it to be in line with the rest of this. And now when I let go, you're going to see these like very sharp lines in here. And those lines will travel from up here down. That's how I do that. And now I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm going to go ahead and take this and I'm going to do a inset. Actually, no, you know what? For this one, I will need to go all the way around. That's right. Okay, so that's no big deal. But we're going to go ahead and do an inset, a very tiny one. Now, because this wraps around it, I can't just like move it down or around because that'll actually push this part farther out. So instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to scale. And I'm going to grab it. So like if you grab the blue, that'll be just your vertical scale. Red is your horizontal x-axis scale, and green is your y-axis scale. I don't want to grab any of those, so instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab outside here. That way it scales everything, and I'm just going to try and get it a very tiny amount scaled inward. About like that. And then I'm going to do the same exact thing again. I'm just going to go ahead and grab another inset, a very tiny one. There you go. And then I'm going to scale that out a little bit. Hopefully I can do it just about like that. So there you go. Now I've got lines that go all the way around, and this line actually curves a little bit, which was kind of the goal, was to make something that would look a little bit, I don't know how I really want to word that. Just a little, not perfectly straight all the way across everything, but anyways. So now I'm going to go ahead and go back to object mode here to show you what that looks like here. And you can kind of see, it's a little bit hard to see. Actually, you know what? We can probably undo that face orientation. It'll probably be easier to see on that gray face. You can see those nice sharp lines in that model now. So there will be more lines, and I'll have like more of like boxes of lines in here. And the way that'll work is I'll just basically create more boxes, click into those boxes, do an inset, so on and so forth. I just want to kind of give you an idea of how those details are added. As we get farther along, it's going to just, hopefully, you know, ultimately, I'm hoping it'll look better and better. You know what? I'm not really a fan of the look of the front of that windscreen. That looks a little off. Let's go to edit. I think I know how I could maybe make that look a little better. Let's go ahead and do, let's make sure that that's 1 point. Good. Because that's what we want. And then we're going to go to bevel. No, that's not going to work. Okay, we'll do this then. Let's see. Yeah, I like that a little bit better. But I think I can do that a little bit more. I don't want it to go all the way down to the body of the frame. Okay, I'm going to actually undo that. Got an idea. We are going to subdivide those. Actually, nope, that's not what I want. We will subdivide those, then we will subdivide that one. That way I don't have that. Then we'll just grab those. There you go. It still doesn't quite come out right. Now, actually, maybe do that. Grab you and move you in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and go check object mode. No, not real thrilled with any of that. Let's back up. Gonna have to try and think of how do I want to. Oh, you know what? I got a better idea. This would probably be a better idea. Yeah, okay, that's better. In fact, Control Z. Let's also go ahead and grab these two. That way the lines kind of follow all the way around. Okay. That looks better. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that looks better. And then we can come up here to this front piece. Actually, no, we don't need to do that. We're gonna just do pull you back just a little bit, move you up. Okay, now let's go ahead and go to object mode so I can see how that looks. Oh yeah, that's definitely better. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. So now we're gonna go back to edit, select all, mesh, symmetricize, there you go. So anyways, as you can see that, you know, it's always a one step at a time thing here. But like for instance, up here, I would love to make a line that comes this way and goes around this whole section. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. We can grab into that little inset there. That way I've got the whole thing. And we're going to kind of do the same thing up here. We're going to just do a very, very tiny little inset. And then we're going to go to move. We'll move it down just a hair. And then we're going to go ahead and inset. Oh, little break up there, so we clearly did too big of an inset. Alright, down. There you go. And then inset. Perfect. We're going to come back up. Oh. There. Actually, no, I went up too high. There. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and go to object mode just so I can see that those lines actually show up. Oh, you know what? I came up too high. Okay, let's go back to edit. Oh. Sometimes it's better if you zoom in to see exactly where you're at. There, perfect. That is absolutely perfect. Okay, So now, let's go back to object mode. Is that inset gonna be pronounced enough? Maybe not. Might have made the inset too small. Let's go ahead and go back. Alright, let's go ahead and go to inset. That will definitely show. Okay. Now that might be alright. Okay, yeah, that's better. That is better. So, like I said, there's gonna be some there's always a little bit of trial and error with getting it to look right, but at least you can kind of see my process for getting these things done. You know what? I kind of want another line in here. I like that one. That looks good. This one, I kind of want it to be these lines closer together. I got an idea. Okay. Let's go to edit. Just grab this whole, oops, that's not what I want. There you go. Grab that. Mesh, bisect. Let's go ahead and do one right about there. And then let's do another one. Let's go ahead and do a mesh, bisect. Go basically right through the red line. Go. Select all, mesh, symmetricize just to make sure that those lines are about equal. And now I'm going to go to this middle part. There you go. And then we're going to do another inset. Probably too big. Scale. We're going to go just a little bit small. Oop. A little bit smaller. And then go back to inset. And scale. Right about like that, I think. Nope, that's too big. About like that. Move. Perfect. Good enough. Alright, so now let's go back to object. And you can kind of see that those extra creases and lines going in there. So that's how that's going to work. And yeah, anyways, I'm going to drink this coffee and I'm going to keep working on it. But I just kind of wanted to give you kind of another view of where I'm at with the model and what I'm working on. Probably the next video I do of this will probably be when I go to add like the ventilation or the air intakes and possibly like the light receptacle areas, because there's a couple of places that I want to have some lights. I want to have an area up here for some headlights, and then I also want to have a couple of top lights. I'll probably do like a port and starboard light as well. Thanks for, I can't remember your name off the top of my head who suggested it, but thank you for suggesting it. I do think that's a good idea, and we'll look into doing that. So anyways, that's gonna be it for now. I hope you guys all enjoy that, and until the next time, talk to you later. Bye for now.